Good morning, everybody. We're in the studio today, and I'm excited. I got my good friend Mike Ponder in. Mike, welcome back. You've been busy.
Man, I'm glad to be here. Yes, sir.
I
Sure
know.
have.
We've got an event tonight that you came in town for. So you relocated to Nashville.
Relocated to Nashville. Yes, sir.
You're back in town tonight for the Buford Charities Oyster Roast.
Yes.
Tell me about your relationship with the Charities Oyster Roast first. We'll start with that.
Well, I've been, as you know, I've been helping out the charities for, gosh, 12 years,
Yeah.
12, 13 years now.
Yeah.
And it's been, it's always good. We've raised a lot of money over the years, and I've always been a part of the charities here, and any charity in Buford I've always been a part of. And, of course, I had my charity on Paris Island that helped active duty and veterans
Yeah.
while I was here it ran for 6 years.
Well,
And it's still running, believe it or not. It's just I have other people that's running it and still doing that. But with Buford Charities here, I've known all those guys like Willie Mack and Christian and all those guys for many, many years. Knew Willie Mack when we was all in the Navy and Marine Corps together, and that's what we do as veterans. We just want to help.
Yeah, 100%. I spoke to Christian the other day because we're the first time we're actually involved in it from we're doing video, we're doing photo, we're doing some interviews of the people that are coming and what it means to them. So I spoke to Christian the other day, and he spoke highly of you.
Yeah, I love those guys.
Yeah. And I told him you and I were good friends, and we kind of go way back. Obviously not as way back as some of you and your other people.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we've known each other now for, God, almost, 12 years?
Yeah, give or
about
take.
12 years?
Yeah. When you were at Felver and you were working with David, and we did some vinyl for you, so it's been a long time. So tonight, Oyster Charity, the Buford Charities Oyster Roast, and then where are you heading tomorrow?
I'm back at Redneck Riviera in Nashville, Tennessee tomorrow night. Yeah.
So get everybody caught up. I know last time you were on, we had some conversation. So what's happened since? Shoot, I think it's been almost a year.
Oh Lord, it has. When I first left, I got involved with the Apprenticeship Academy under Joe West's tutelage.
Okay.
Which, for those of you who don't know who Joe West is, he's a 28-time Grammy Award-winning songwriter and producer. He does Shakira's stuff.
Okay.
He does Keith Urban's stuff. He wrote several songs for Toby Keith, American Ride.
Big time.
Big time,
Okay.
Extremely good instructor. And I went to his academy for sound engineering, audio engineering, and music production.
Okay.
And recently just graduated.
Congratulations.
So went back to school at 50.
Yeah.
And learned a lot about audio engineering and music production on the professional level, on the CMT. I'm on the radio.
Understood.
Audio engineering. And he networked me with tons and tons of people. We got to work with several people in the studios. We got to work with some of the best musicians in the world, which was just a blessing for me, me being a musician.
Of course.
People like Billy Sheehan, Mr. Big, people like Toby. I got to see Toby before he passed away, and just got to meet lots and lots of people. And just started doing shows around Nashville, and I got to where I was sitting in with people, and I met, literally hundreds of people in a very short time, influential people. Got to hang out with Ots Kilcher and the Kilchers that do the Discovery Channel.
Got it. Yeah, for sure.
That does the Alaska, the Last Frontier, and Ots and Jewel. And, man, that whole family is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Great people. Ots kind of took me under his wing, and he looked at me, and Ots, being, 78 years old, and still running marathons every day. He looked at me and he said, Mr. Ponder, you're fluffy, but I think you got something. And I said, Ots Kilcher, thank you very much. I appreciate you, brother.
Have you ever been called Fluffy prior to that?
I've been called Fluffy a couple of times, but I took that as he says, his family says, if Ots talks to you like that, that means he likes you.
Okay. Well, that's
so I said, well, I'm glad, And actually, I'm going up in June to shoot a 7-day event for a veterans build and a veterans thing in Homer, Alaska, with the Kilcher family on Discovery Channel, and
that's
it'll
be amazing.
It'll go out, and it's just a great time. We'll sit around the campfire and write songs and do all kinds of songwriting stuff, and then do some bills and cut wood and and we're gonna be living off the land for 7 days.
Yeah, and I think there's nothing wrong with that occasionally, right? I mean, it kind of gets you back and sets you back into that mindset. So
It does. So anyway, going on, I met a gentleman named Joe Kelly. He is the owner of CDX Distribution and CDX Records in Nashville. He falls under the Sony Orchard window.
Got it.
Up there. And Joe liked everything I was doing. He liked my songs I was writing. He liked what I was doing. He liked the fact that I could produce and do my own sound engineering.
Right. That's a big thing.
And we actually brought another one of your friends up, the young lady that plays here in Beaufort.
Oh, yeah.
Golly.
Yeah.
I don't know why her name escapes me.
I see, we had her on during Christmas time.
Yes. So she came up, and she got to go to the studio, and we cut a couple of things for her.
Nice.
And just an angel to work with.
Yeah.
And anyway, Joe approached me, and he says, I really enjoy what you're doing. I like what you're doing. Why don't you come see me next week?
Okay.
I said, okay, no problem. I would love to. And I didn't know who Joe Kelly was. I had no idea.
Right.
To me, he was just another person.
Yeah. Because you had met so many prior to that.
I had met so many prior to that. Well, I went back in, and we sat down with him, and he says, I'm going to sign you. And I kind of went, huh? And we started going through all the paperwork and everything, and things have just exploded. We started working on the new album, which is the first single off that is Take Me to Tennessee.
Okay.
And it released actually last night at midnight.
Okay.
And they can find it on CDX Nashville. They can find it on MikePonderMusic.com.
Okay.
They
Are
can
you on
find
Apple
it.
Music?
I'm on Apple, Spotify,
the whole nine.
114 different platforms.
Okay.
It released on last night.
Wow.
So
you had mentioned earlier. So how many? So it dropped last night at midnight.
Dropped last night at midnight.
And now we're currently at 9:03 in the morning the next day.
We are up into the thousands and thousands of hits.
Okay.
It's doing well.
Yeah, that's exciting.
I cannot complain.
Yeah.
I didn't expect ever one of my songs to take off like that, but
yeah.
Kind of like TikTok, you never know how many views you're going to get until it goes viral.
I was going to ask you, are you on TikTok?
I am on TikTok, Instagram. We're on Twitter.
Okay.
We're on Facebook. Everywhere.
So from a label, do they require you or recommend you to be on those social media platforms?
We have to be on those.
Okay,
we have to
that's
do.
what I thought.
Like after today, after we do this podcast, we'll try to get this podcast put on at some point, and then I have to do live sessions for the rest of the morning.
Okay.
Even before a show starts, you spend 95% of the time marketing and prepping yourself, and 5% actually playing your
music. Because it's all about the brand and who you are as a person and what you represent, and they I'm assuming they feel confident in you as a person and what you represent.
Yes.
Therefore, they want you to be part of that team.
They do. And Nashville is all about veterans.
Oh, okay.
Nashville is huge when it comes to any kind of veteran stuff.
Yeah.
Myself, as you know, I'm a Operation Encore Veterans Music Project artist.
Yep.
Is who I first went with, and I'm still with them.
Yeah.
It's just separated platforms, you know. But we've got a lot of OE artists that are in Nashville, and we all work together as a team. Myself, Scotty Hastings, Schaefer Mueller. There's Rachel Hill. I mean, there's like 16 of us, and 8 of us live in Nashville now.
Yeah.
It's a little bit faster paced than Beaufort.
Of course. I'm sure
it's a little bit faster paced than Beaufort.
I'm sure it is.
You know, you'll be sitting there playing at Second Fiddle on Broadway, and Lainey Wilson walks in beside of you and just sits down, and you're going,
yeah.
Oh crap! You know, I've got to hang out and meet Vince Gill.
Wow.
They've invited me backstage at Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah.
Which is just.
How was that?
It's a dream,
man.
I can
imagine.
It's a dream.
The fact that everybody knows about Grand Ole Opry that aren't necessarily into country music is a testament to that time and that era.
Yeah, and I tell you what, once you get into that family, that circle of friends and circle of family there, they really take you under their wing and they mold you. As long as you are willing to put in the work and the sleepless nights, they will mold you and help you. And it's like just being around, just like me and you sitting here.
How hard is it at our age to increase that workload or that to put on everything that you're doing now?
Hard.
Hard, yeah.
Hard.
As expected.
Normally, and I've been told, they said, normally you don't see a 50-year-old getting newly signed in Nashville. And I was told by several people, you are never.
Yeah.
I've been told by several people, friends locally here,
Yeah.
you are never going to get signed in Nashville. You're just too old. Guess
There you
what?
are.
I'm signed. And it's a roller coaster.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine.
And you just got to hang on.
Yeah, I know
It's like,
for sure.
It's like that bull riding for 8 seconds, man. It's
Yes,
like
sir.
you got to hang on it, and you got to push forward as much as you can every day, and do the best you can every day, and keep putting new material out there. Write with people. I've got to write with Jason Matthews, which wrote a lot of Billy Carrington stuff. I've been a pleasure. Take Me to Tennessee, that just released last night. Myself and Schaefer Mueller, which lives in Alaska.
Okay.
We wrote that song in 30 minutes, sitting in the studio.
Really?
And
So real quick, I've always wanted. So when it comes to writing music and songs, what comes first? Do you have the lyrics in your head? Is it the melody? Is it something a chord that you get that catches on, or what? What's
with
that
me,
process?
it's kind of you got to get your musical hook first. Like I'll be picking around on the guitar, and I'll find a little rhythm or beat that really matches.
Yeah.
And I just go with it from there.
Okay.
Then you try to figure out your lyrical hook and what's going to really touch somebody. Maybe I write something that, like for instance, my next song is getting ready to release in 6 weeks from today.
Yeah.
I'll give you a little insight. It's called Memories Live On.
Okay.
And it's written by myself, Katie Godowns.
Oh, okay. Love Katie.
I have a writing team also, Joel, up in Michigan.
Yeah.
We wrote this over Zoom meetings. We have Zoom meetings every week.
Okay.
They're my writing team.
Yeah.
And with Memories Live On, we talk about, like for instance, somebody that their father would take them out on the old tractor or take them out in the old truck.
Yeah.
Teach them how to drive in the field. And now that all that's gone, we bring that back, those memories. And
Yeah.
you want to touch people, and people need that. I think nowadays people
100%.
are starving emotionally
Yeah.
for content that brings a tear to their eyes or they relate to in life.
Yeah.
And that's what we try to write to.
Yeah, I like that. I'm looking forward to hearing the album and these singles that get released. I'm a big fan of yours. I know you're a great musician, a great singer. So going to this, when you went to Nashville, do you reckon, because of the people that you met, obviously the knowledge that you learned from the producing side and all that side, that was great. But was it more beneficial for you from a networking side?
It was very beneficial for a networking side. Up there, most of your producers are also musicians.
Okay. Which kind of, I would assume that. And for me, it
Yes.
kind of goes hand in hand, right?
So, for instance, I work with my producers for a lot of my stuff. When I first came out with my videos and my first 2 albums, was Kent Wells and David Fowler.
Okay.
Well, Kent Wells is Dolly Parton's stage boss and lead guitarist. Worked with Dolly for, 30-something years.
Yeah.
So you get in with those old cats that they know what the business is. They understand
Yeah.
how it works and what the ins and outs are.
Yeah.
And with me, as much as I talk, I had to shut up and listen. And that was hard for me.
Right, for sure.
But the amount of education and networking that came from hanging out with those producers and being with those types of people
Yeah.
was amazing. It was just like you have to become a sponge.
Yeah.
And it's a lot. It's a lot to comprehend.
Yeah, and to absorb. Yeah.
It's not playing the music, it's the fun part.
Right.
Learning everything about why you play the music
Yeah.
is the difficulty.
Now, for a new artist coming up, what would you recommend for them? Say they've got the talent. They've already got the talent. They can play. They can sing. In an age when everybody wants to be self-managed on TikTok and they don't want to sell out, what do you recommend for someone that wants to get into the industry?
What I recommend is you keep doing what you're doing. You keep writing.
Okay.
One of the songs I've put out I thought was the most horrible song I ever wrote in my life. And it seems like that's been the one that everybody's loved. So don't grade yourself on what you think your songs are like. Keep writing, keep pushing forward. learn. Go on YouTube. Go get with other people. Write with people. Writing teams are the best. You may be a good writer, but when you sit down with somebody else that is also a good writer, it will humble you.
Right. And
that will make you better because it'll make you want to write better. But keep doing what you're doing. Learn your craft. The best advice I can tell you, do not move to Nashville, Tennessee if you do not have a lot of practice under your belt. Because your local bartender probably plays guitar better than you. But they're just as humble. They're there trying to work through the grind, but don't give up.
Yeah.
It may take you 10, 15, 16 years, but if you're really into your craft and you're doing what you really love, it's not work.
Right.
Just keep banging it out. Somebody will hear you. Yeah. Somebody will ask you if they want to work with them. Try not to ever turn down anybody that wants to work with you. But always remember the biggest thing is to stay humble.
Okay.
Stay humble. Arrogance in Nashville will get you kicked right out of town.
Well, I can assume, yeah. I think, well, that's a great advice for life in general.
In
for
general,
whatever you're
absolutely.
doing. I think staying humble regardless. I think we all have kind of the imposter syndrome sometimes where we really question our abilities and our skill set.
Nashville's really formed me. I always tried to be a good person anyway.
Right.
And you know me, you've known me for a long time. But Nashville really kind of opened my eyes to you really have to stay humble as an individual. You really have to learn to work with people. I mean, I'm 50 years old, be 51 this year. Been through a lot, veteran-wise and military-wise and music-wise. And I'm working with kids that have so much talent, but they just don't know how to apply it.
Right.
So I'm kind of looked at on Broadway as kind of a father figure.
Yeah.
I'm glad I hadn't reached grandpa status yet, but all these kids come up to me and they're like, "Man, you are so good. What are you, how are you doing it?" And I haven't been in Nashville but 28 weeks.
Yeah, I've been long.
And now I'm looked at as the old guy.
Yeah.
I'm the one that they're coming to going, give us advice.
Right, for sure.
And I'm like, I'm still trying to learn about Nashville myself. But knowing how to book gigs and, at one time I was down here doing 300 gigs a year.
Yep.
And
I remember those days.
It was a lot easier then.
Yeah.
But now all the kids now are coming up. How did you do it? What did you do? So I just set them down. I try to give them the best advice as I can, lead them in the right direction. And now they kind of come to me for stuff, and it's really cool.
Well, Mike, I appreciate you coming in, sitting down. Everybody check out, what's the web address?
Well, my web address is mikepondermusic.com.
Okay.
You can also go to CDX Nashville. And also, real quick, Sean, not only am I an artist now in Nashville, but I'm also the director of Wish for Our Heroes Foundation.
There we go. Perfect.
So you can do wishforourheroes.org. And what we do is we grant wishes to active duty members that are in emergencies, in needs. We're partnered with Goose Flights, which is Tony Saragusi, that was linebacker for the Ravens. He passed away last year at the young age of 55.
Yeah.
And we're partnered with his daughter. So they give emergency flights with their Learjet company to any kind of emergencies anywhere in the U.S. or the world that's needed. So we've got a lot of good people we've partnered with. Tennessee Titans, Grand Ole Opry, we're partnered. It's just a big thing.
Yeah.
But a lot on the plate, and I'm glad that I got to come down and see you and take a little time to
I appreciate
sit down and catch up.
Act 3 is picking up for you.
Act 3 is definitely picking up for me. So, but we're going to have a good show tonight.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
I think we kick off at 6 o'clock, I believe.
Yeah, and it's a rain or shine kind of event.
It's a rain or shine. We're going to start out with I Love a Rainy Night, I think.
Perfect. I'm looking forward to hearing you play. It's been a while since I've seen you perform, and it's always a pleasure.
Well, I tell you, I got a great crew with me tonight. Okay. I've got Mark Morey, who plays for Daryl Worley.
Okay.
I've got Miss Becca Siegel, which is probably one of the youngest new upcoming fiddle players in Nashville.
Ooh, love fiddle.
Oh, absolutely. And got my old drummer, John Heim, has moved to Nashville. He's with me back full time.
Nice.
Austin Willem, he is a certified crazy bass player.
Yeah.
He plays Broadway numerous times a week. You can find him. He might be sitting in with anybody down there.
Wow.
Just great people.
Yeah.
good times, and it's going to be a good show.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, man.
All right.
So good to see you.
Thanks everybody for watching. We appreciate it.
It's good to see everybody.